Yes, hello everyone. Hello to all of you. Everyone, please confirm, beta. Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? Everyone, please confirm. Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? Hello to all of you. Everyone, please confirm, beta. Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? Audio video is clear to everyone. Please confirm in the chat box. So I hope am I audible and visible clearly to all of you. And today in this session, we are going to discuss some question of the transportation engineering as well as of surveying. So we will have the detailed discussion, or with the help of all these questions, we are going to revise all the important concepts from your GATE 2023 exam point of view. So I hope you all have revised your class notes. You all have revised all the concept of the transportation engineering and surveying, so then you can take the advantage of this session effectively. So let's start the discussion one by one. एक एक discussion start करते हैं. And this is your question number one. This is your question number one. But before starting the session, let me introduce myself for those who are new to this class or watching this class first time. So I am Kshitiz Sachan. I have completed my MTech in structures, qualified GATE multiple time with good rank, and my best GATE rank is AIR 30. And the subject that I am going to deal with all of you, that are going to be the transportation engineering and surveying from your GATE and ESE exam point of view. So now we will start the discussion. For the first, start with the transportation engineering. So this is the question number one from the transportation engineering. So everyone try to solve this question, and I will provide you 1 minute time for this question. For every question you are going to get 1 minute time. So in this time, try to solve the question. So your time starts now, and tell me what will be the answer for this question. So after 1 minute, we will have the detailed discussion. So let's see the discussion for this question. Let's see the solution part, and we are going to solve this question. So listen and see carefully. What should be the minimum sight distance required to avoid a head-on collision of two cars approaching from the opposite direction? So as per the data given in the question, two cars are there. Let's say car A and car B. And these cars are approaching towards each other, and to avoid the head-on collision, what should be the minimum distance, what should be the visibility that should be available, that we need to find out. And the speed of the vehicle A is given as like 90 kmph. Speed of the vehicle B is given as 60 kmph. And reaction time for both the driver is given as TR is given as 2.5 second. For this vehicle, TR is also given as 2.5 second. F is given as 0.7, and brake efficiency is given as 50%. F is given as 0.7 and brake efficiency is given as 50%. So we have to consider the brake efficiency factor also for calculating the SSD. But for this case, we know when the two vehicles are approaching towards each other, in that case the minimum visibility, the minimum sight distance that should be available on the road to avoid the head-on collision, that is the distance required to stop the vehicle A. So this is going to be your SSD A for vehicle A, and similarly this will be the SSD required for vehicle B. So total distance, total visibility that should be available, and that is going to be SSD, that will equal to the SSD A plus SSD B. SSD A plus SSD B. So in this question, you need to simply calculate the SSD required for both the vehicle, and the entire data is given to you. So we can solve, yes. So we can easily calculate the SSD. SSD is going to be, first we will calculate for the vehicle A. This is going to be V into TR plus V square upon 2GF, और F की वैल्यू को हम लोग we can consider 0.5 into 0.7, that is going to be 0.35. Considering the effect of the braking efficiency, F is going to be 0.35. So just put all the value. So for the vehicle A, speed is given as 90 kmph. So we can write 90 into 5 by 18 plus 90 into 5 by 18 का whole square divide by 2 into 9.81 into 0.35. Similarly, we can calculate the SSD for vehicle B, and the speed for this vehicle is given as 60 kmph. So 60 into 5 by 18 V into TR 2.5 second, that is the reaction time, and plus 60 into 5 by 18 का whole square divide by 2 into 9.81 into 0.35. So in this way you can calculate for the SSD required for the vehicle A, and similarly you can calculate the SSD required for the vehicle B. And to avoid the head-on collision that we have just discussed, to avoid the head-on collision, the minimum distance, the minimum visibility that should be available on the road is going to be SSD will be equal to SSD for the vehicle A and SSD for the vehicle B. And when you will perform the calculation part for the SSD for the vehicle A and SSD for the vehicle B, the net resultant value that you are going to get, that will be approximately 236 meter. To check the calculation part, so that should be the answer. So for this question, that should be the answer. So based on this explanation, you can mark option C as the correct answer for this question. So C is going to be the correct answer for this question number 1. So I hope the entire discussion is clear to everyone. I hope the entire discussion is clear to everyone. Everyone please confirm in the chat box if the discussion for this question is clear to everyone. Please confirm in the chat box so that we can proceed further. Okay, very good. So now let's move to the next question, question number 2. And similarly try to solve this question. This question is MSQ. The format of this question is MSQ. Here you have to mark all the statements, correct statement. So again, everyone try to solve this question, and for this question I will provide you 1 minute 30 second time. So you have 1 minute 30 second time to solve this question and tell me what will be the answer. Okay, so I got the answer A and B. What about C and D? C and D are incorrect. C and D are incorrect. So check all the statements. Check for A, B, C and D and mark correct statements. Okay, take your time. Take your time and cross check all the statements A, B, C, D. So your time up. Now we will have the detailed discussion. The speed of the overtaking and the overtaken vehicle. So let's see the discussion. So speed of the overtaking and the speed of the overtaken vehicle is given as 70 and 40 kmph. 70 kmph and 40 kmph. No problem. And respectively on a two-way traffic road, the average acceleration A is given as 0.99 meter per second square. Okay. Assume the overtaking vehicle is moving at design speed. Select the correct options below. First, we need to calculate the OSD. So we can write for two-way traffic. For two-way traffic, the OSD will be equal to D1 plus D2 plus D3. Yes. D1 plus D2 plus D3. We can calculate all these values. So D1 is going to be VB into TH. So VB is given as 40. So 40 into 5 by 18 into hesitation period we can consider as 2 seconds. So from here we can calculate the value of D1. Similarly, the D2 is going to be B plus 2S. We can also write as VB into capital T plus 2S. And space headway we can calculate at 0.2 capital VB plus L. So 0.2 capital VB is going to be 40. L we can assume as 6 meter. The value of S you will get. The value of S you will get as 0.2 into 40 plus 6. That is going to be 14 meter. So with the help of S we can calculate the T. T is going to be under root 4S upon A. So that is going to be 4 into 14 divided by 0.99. So T you will get in second. So 7.52 second, that is going to be capital T. Now we can find out the value of D2. So D2 will be equal to VB is going to be 40. 40 into 5 by 18 into 7.52 plus 2 into 14, and that will be equal to 111.55 meter. Now we can calculate the value of the D3, and D3 is going to be VC into capital T. We can assume the VA is equal to VC. So this will be equal to 70 into 5 by 18 into 7.52, and that will be equal to 146.22 meter. So now we can calculate the OSD. So OSD will be equal to D1 plus D2 plus D3. So D1 we have calculated. D1 we have not calculated. Let's calculate. So this is going to be 22.22 meter. So D1 is going to be 22.22 plus D2 is going to be the 111.55, and similarly D3 we have calculated 146.22. 146.22. So total OSD that is required will be equal to 279.99 meter. This is the value of required OSD. This is the value of the required OSD for the given data. So option is safe overtaking side distance is equal to 280.2 something. So option A is correct. Minimum length of the overtaking zone. So we know OSD is going to be, let's say, 280. So minimum length of overtaking zone, we can check for B. Minimum length of overtaking zone. So as per IRC, this is going to be 3 times of OSD. So 280 into 3, that is going to be 840 meter. 840 meter. Statement B is also correct. Statement B is also correct. Headlight side distance is 100 meter. Okay. To check for this statement, so we know for safe traffic movement, for safe traffic operation, HSD should be equal to SSD, and that is going to be V into TR plus V square upon 2GF. Of GF, instead of GF, we can use the term A. So this is going to be V into TR plus V square upon 2A. And the design speed we can consider as 70 kmph. So for this road, we can calculate the required SSD. So 70 into 5 by 18 into reaction time we can consider as 2.5 second plus 70 into 5 by 18 whole square divide by 2 into 0.99. Solve, you will get the value. So lag distance you are going to get 48.61 plus braking distance you can calculate. And please cross check all the calculation part. So this is going to be 190.95. So SSD is going to be 239.56 meter. SSD will be equal to 239.56 meter. So headlight side distance will be equal to 100 meter. This statement is incorrect. Intermediate side distance will be equal to 2 times of the SSD. This is also incorrect. So based on this explanation, you can mark A and B are the correct statement. Good afternoon, everyone. So please cross check all the calculation part. Calculations do cross check all the calculation. And based on this explanation, A and B should be the correct answer for this question. Clear? The discussion for this question is clear to everyone? The discussion for this question is clear to everyone, yes or no? So the question was related to the OSD, overtaking side distance. So now let's move further. Okay, very good. Now let's move further. Let's see the discussion for the question number 3rd. And yes, everyone try to solve this question. And your time starts now. Yes, have you got the answer for this question? You have 1 minute 30 second time to solve this question. Very good. So Priyansh mark the answer as A. We will have the discussion. So let's see the solution part. So in this question, the design speed of the highway is given as 80 kmph. There is a horizontal curve of radius is going to be 200 meter on a certain locality. If the maximum super elevation E max that we can provide, that is going to be 0.7, and F we are providing as 0.15, so what will be the speed that they have asked? So first we will go for the design super elevation v square upon 127 r. So this will be equal to 80 का square divided by 127 into radius of the curve is given as 200. So we can calculate the design super elevation. Let's see the discussion, beta. We are solving the question. Whatever answer we will get, that we will mark as the correct answer. So this is going to be 80 square divided by 127 into 200. That will be equal to 0.25. It should not be greater than 0.07. So E is going to be 0.07. Now we can check for F. So V square upon 127 R, F will be equal to V square upon 127 R minus E. So that will be equal to 80 square divided by 127 into 200 minus 0.07. So that is coming out 0.18. It should not be greater than 0.15. Both conditions are given. So now what we can do? So we can consider E is going to be 0.07 and F will be equal to 0.15. Now based on these two parameters, when E is equal to 0.07 and F is equal to 0.15, so what should be the restricted speed? So E plus F is equal to V square upon 127 R. So here I can use 0.07 plus 0.15 and that should be equal to V square upon 127 R is given as 200. So we can calculate as 0.07 plus 0.15 into 127 into 200 under root answer 74.75 kmph. V restricted or V allowed is going to be 74.75 kmph. When E is reached to its maximum value, F reached to its maximum value. So based on this E and F, we can calculate the restricted speed or the allowed speed. That is going to be 74.75. So the nearest option that is available with us, that is going to be A. So for this question, we can mark A as the correct answer. Everyone please confirm. The discussion is clear to everyone? The entire discussion for this question is clear to everyone? If anyone having any doubt, any query at any point, you can ask your doubt, you can ask your query. Clear? Very good. Now let's move to the next question. And this is your question number 4. This is your question number 4. And your time starts now. Sir, it is required to check for 0.07 and 0.15 or we can directly go for allowable speed. In the question, they have provided that maximum super elevation you cannot provide beyond 0.07 and the design value of the lateral friction coefficient as 0.15. So as per our calculation, our design super elevation was greater than 0.07. So that's why we have considered the maximum value that was specified in the question. Similarly, we have done with the F for the lateral friction coefficient. And now if E and F are fixed, we have two options. We can find out the allowed speed or we can change the radius for the particular speed. But radius changing is not recommended. That's why in this situation we are going to restrict the speed. The normal speed was for the previous question. The normal speed was given in the question, that was 80 kmph, but when E reaches to the maximum value, F is fixed as 0.15, then only you can move with this speed without changing the radius. Without changing the radius. Point is clear, beta? Priyans, your doubt is clear, please confirm. Have you got your answer? Okay. So now let's move further. Total width of the pavement on the horizontal curve for a two-lane is to be aligned along the rolling terrain with ruling minimum radius would be pavement width is given as 7 meter, length of the wheelbase is given as 6 meter. So what will be the total width? W plus WE. In this question you need to find out the extra widening. Okay, but for extra widening we require the value of R, so we can calculate wait. So we know E plus F is equal to V square upon 127 R. So from here we can calculate the R minimum, and that is going to be V square upon 127 E plus F. And for rolling terrain, your E maximum will be equal to 0.07 and F will be equal to 0.15. V is given to you. V we can consider as 80. Total pavement with a horizontal curve national highway. So for rolling terrain, the design speed is going to be 80 kmph. So as per IRC, V is going to be the 80 kmph. So now we can put all the value and to find out the value of R. So R will be equal to 80 square divided by 127, 0.07 plus 0.15. So from here we can calculate the radius. 80 square divided by 127 into 0.07 plus 0.15. That will be equal to 229.0 meter. So now based on this data we can calculate the total extra widening required. So NL square by 2R plus V upon 9.5 under root R. So two lane length of the wheelbase is given as 6 square divided by 2 into radius you have just calculated 229 plus 80 upon 9.5 under root 229. Here from here you can calculate the total extra widening required in meter. So that is going to be mechanical extra widening is going to be 0.1572 and psychological extra widening will be equal to, please do cross check all the calculation part, 0.5564. So total extra widening will be equal to 0.7136 meter. So total width of pavement on curve, that is going to be W plus WE. So 7 plus 0.7136. So 7.7136 meter. So for two lane road, as per IRC, your W is going to be 7 meter. Width of the carriageway or the width of the pavement is going to be 7 meter. So total width that is required on this curve will be equal to W plus WE, where W is the width of pavement and WE is the total extra widening required. So let's see the option 7.71. So we can mark A as the correct answer for this question. I hope the entire discussion is clear to everyone. Based on this data and based on this explanation, you can mark A as the correct answer for this question. Please confirm in the chat box if the discussion is clear to everyone. Clear. Okay, very good. So now let's solve next question. And the next question is question number 5. So what will be the answer for this question? So I hope you all are solving all the question. Take 2 minute time to solve this question. Take 2 minute time to solve this question. Then we will have the discussion. Now let's see the discussions. Let's see the solution part. A vertical summit curve is formed at the intersection of two gradient plus n 1% is given as 4%, minus n 2% is given as minus 5%. So n is going to be the algebraic difference of the grade. So 4 minus minus plus 5%. So that is going to be 0.09. This is going to be the deviation angle. This is going to be the deviation angle. Length of the summit curve you need to find out. What will be the length of the summit curve? And speed is given as 100 kmph. And reaction time of the driver is given as 2.5 second and f is given as 0.35. So we can design the length of summit curve based on sight distance criteria. Based on sight distance criteria. So length of curve is, we have to calculate the SSD. So this is going to be V into TR plus V square upon 2GF. So that is going to be, V is given as 100. So 100 into 5 by 18 into TR is 2.5 plus 100 into 5 by 18 का whole square 2 into 9.81 into 0.35. So from here you can calculate the SSD, and that SSD will be equal to, perform the calculation part. So this is going to be 181.80 meter. Now we are assuming, length of curve is greater than sight distance. So for this condition, we can use the standard formula. So length of curve will be equal to ns square upon 4.4 for SSD. So this is going to be 0.09 into S is going to be 181.8 का whole square divide by 4.4, and that will be equal to 676 676.11 meter. 676.11 meter. And what was our initial assumption? Assumption was length of curve is greater than side distance. Side distance value is given as 181.80 meter. Length of the curve we have calculated, that is 676.11 meter. That means our assumption is valid. Yes or no? That means our assumption is valid. So we can mark D as the correct answer for this question. So for the question number 5, the correct answer is going to be D. Discussion is clear to everyone? Discussion is clear to everyone? So now see the discussion for the next question. And this is your question number 6. This is your question number 6. Here you need to calculate the length of the valley curve based on both the criteria. You need to calculate the length of the valley curve based on the HSD criteria and for headlight side distance criteria and for comfort criteria. This class is for students who are comfortable in English. So this is your Gate Wala English channel. So we have also planned some session for students, those who are comfortable in English. Here we will have the game. Here we will have the game. So I hope you all have tried this question. This question is related to the length of the valley curve. This question is related to the how you can calculate the length of the valley curve required. So let's see the discussion for this question. So I have provided you 2-minute time. Now we will have the discussion. What concept is required to solve this question? A valley curve is formed by a descending gradient minus n1%. N1 is given as minus n1 is given as 1 by 20 and plus n2 is given as 1 by 25. So from with the help of this data we can calculate the algebraic difference of the grade. Yes. So mod value of the algebraic difference of the grade in the case of valley curve. So I think please cross check. You are getting this value as again 0.09. So we will calculate the length from both the criteria. Speed is given as 80 kmph and f is given as 0.35. So first we will calculate based on HSD criteria. Based on HSD criteria. So now what we can write? For safe movement, HSD should be equal to, for safe movement, HSD should be equal to SSD and V into TR plus V square upon 2GF. So design speed is given as 80. So 80 into 5 by 18 reaction time of the driver we can consider as 2.5 second plus 80 into 5 by 18 का whole square divide by 2 into 9.81 into 0.35. So from here you can calculate the value of the SSD. From here you can calculate the value of the SSD. So this is going to be 127.46 meter. So now we can calculate the length. So length of the valley curve will be equal to, we are assuming as length of the valley curve is greater than side distance. So ns square upon 2h plus 2s tan alpha. So n 0.09 into s 127.46 whole square divided by 2 into 0.75 plus 2 into, this is going to be 2h plus 2s tan alpha. So this is going to be 2s 127.46 into 10 1 degree. From here you can calculate the length of the valley curve. Tell me the value that you are getting. So 245.75 meter. This is going to be the length of valley curve required based on the HHD criteria. But this will not be the final answer. We have to also calculate the length of valley curve. We have to calculate the length of valley curve based on the comfort criteria. Based on comfort criteria. And this is going to be 0.38 under root NV cube. So 0.38 under root 0.09 into V is given as 80. Speed is given as 80. So this is going to be 80 cube. Solve. 81.57 meter. So what will be the answer? Length of valley curve will be equal to the maximum of 245.75 meter, and this is going to be 81.57 meter. So length of valley curve will equal to 245.75 meter. This is going to be the answer. Whatever maximum value we will get from both the criteria, that finally we will provide as the length of the valley curve. Yes or no? So based on this explanation, 245.75, 245.75, that means that nearly equal to 246 meter. So D is going to be the correct answer for this question number 6. D will be the correct answer. So now let's move to the next question. Question number 7. Question number 7, and try to solve this question. What's wrong with the timer? And your time starts now. In this formula 0.38 under root NV cube, V will be in kmph. V will be in kmph, beta. Two under root NV cube by C. 2 under root NV cube by C. Bhavik, LV will be equal to 2 under root NV cube by C. Here V is in meter per second. LV is equal to 0.38 under root NV cube. Here V is in kmph. Here V is in kmph. So let's see the discussion for this question. This question is related to the capacity of the rotary. This question is related to the capacity of the rotary. So let's see the discussion for this question. A roundabout is provided with the average entry width E1 plus E2 by 2. So E will be equal to 10 meter. Width of the weaving section W is given as 15 meter. Length of the weaving section is given as 38 meter. Crossing traffic and total traffic. So with the help of these two traffic, we can calculate the proportioning ratio or weaving ratio. So weaving traffic divided by total traffic. So that will be equal to 0.48. Okay. So what will be the capacity of the rotary? So that we can calculate C is equal to 280 into W, 1 plus E by W, 1 minus P by 3, divide by 1 plus W by L. So 280 into width of the rotary is given as 15. 1 plus E, average width is given as 10. So 10 by 15, 1 minus 0.48 by 3, divide by 1 plus W by L, 15 by 38. 15 by 38. So yes, you need to remember this formula. So from here you can calculate the capacity in PCU per hour, and that will be equal to, solve कर लो. 5018, check the calculation part. 5018.86. Check the calculation part, beta. Are you getting the same value? Check the calculation part and confirm. Check the calculation part. I think there is some error in the calculation. Solve this value and tell me the final answer. Calculate. I have taken all the values, you just need to calculate. You have considered same values, Priyans. 4215.8. 4215.8. So 4215. Yes. So based on this explanation, we can mark C as the correct answer. We can mark C as the correct answer for this question. Okay. So in this question, you need to remember this formula. That formula you should know. Then only you will get your answer. So now let's move to the next question, and everyone try to solve this question. So this is the design traffic Q, and this is the saturation traffic S. So everyone try to solve this question. This question is related to the design of signal by Webster's method. This question is related to the design of signal by Webster's method. This question is related to the design of signal by Webster's method. Should I start the explanation for this question? I hope you have all have tried this question. So first try to understand what data they have provided in the question and how we can proceed. So a fixed type two-phase signal, a fixed type two-phase signal is to be designed for the urban intersection using the Webster's approach. The intersection is having the north-south and east-west road where any straight traffic is permitted. There is no left turning traffic. There is no right turning traffic in this case. The design hourly volume and the saturation flow is given to you. You need to calculate the optimum cycle length. All red period per phase is given as and time loss per phase due to the starting delay is going to be 3 second and 2 second. So all red is given as 3 second per phase. This is the important baat discussion. And agla startup loss is given as 2 second per phase. So can you tell me the value of the total time loss? So total time loss in cycle. Total time loss in cycle. There is two phase signal, 3 second for all red and 2 second for startup loss. So total time loss is going to be the 10 second in a cycle. In an entire cycle, there will be the loss of 10 second due to the all red and startup delay. Clear hai? So this was the important point. Now we can calculate. So C naught is going to be 1.5 into L plus 5 upon 1 minus capital Y. So capital Y is going to be Y1 plus Y2. So we need to calculate for north-south road. So north-south 1000 by this is going to be for north this is going to be 1000 by 300,000 and for south it is going to be 600 by 2400 and similarly for east and west. For east 950 by 3600 950 by 3600 and for west the value is going to be 800 by 2000. Calculate all these value. So 0.33 this is going to be 0.25. Yes, this value will be equal to, check the calculation part, 0.26 and this will be equal to I think 0.4. So that we will consider as y1. This value we are going to consider as y1. This value will be equal to y2. So capital Y will be equal to 0.33 plus 0.4, 0.73. Now we can calculate the optimum cycle length. So C naught is going to be 1.5 into L plus 5 upon 1 minus capital Y. So that will be equal to 74.07 second. Optimum cycle length as per the Webster method is going to be 74.07 second. So option are given NAT 74.07 second will be the answer. 74.07 07 second is going to be the answer. This will be the correct value for the optimum cycle length as per the Webster's method. I hope the discussion is clear to everyone. So the main key point was in this question, that was how we are calculating the total lost time in a cycle. So n number of ways are there. N number of ways are there where they can provide you the data for the calculation of the total lost time. When there is no startup loss, when there is no clearance loss, then we can use L is equal to 2n plus R, where R is the all red time and n is the number of phase. But in this question, they have selected another way, another approach to calculate the total lost time. So they have mentioned all red per phase and startup loss per phase. So based on this data, we have calculated the total time lost in a cycle. L is the total time lost in a cycle, not in a phase. I hope the entire discussion is clear to everyone. So you just need to focus and be careful while calculating the value of L in the case of design of signal by Webster's method. This is the only one point in this method where you can commit mistake. So let's see the discussion for the next question. And this is your question number 9. This is your question number 9. Solve and tell me the answer in the chat box. So you have 1 minute time to solve this question. This question is very simple. Okay. So D. So let's see the solution for this question. What they have provided. If the width of the expansion joint is given as delta is given as 3 centimeter. Temperature at the time of the construction T standard is given as 30 degrees Celsius. T maximum is given as 50 degrees Celsius. Alpha will be equal to 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 per degree Celsius. So what will be the spacing of the expansion joint? What will be the spacing of the expansion joint that they have asked? Yes. So we can write total expansion allowed in the case of rigid payment as per IRC recommendation. So IRC has recommended that we will provide the delta gap such that after allowing the full expansion of the payment, there should be a remaining or left gap of the delta by 2. I hope you remember this guideline. So the maximum expansion that may occur in the case of rigid payment is going to be delta by 2. So delta by 2 will be equal to L alpha delta T. So this is going to be 3 centimeter by 2 will be equal to L 10 in 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 into delta T is going to be 50 minus 30 degrees Celsius. So from here we can calculate the value of L and take proper care of units. Take proper care of units. So what you will get? L is going to be 62.5 meter. The value of L you will get as 62.5 meter. Yes. So based on this explanation, D is going to be the answer. And this is the important guideline. This was the guideline. So we will provide the gap delta such that after allowing the full expansion of the payment, there should be a remaining or left gap of the delta by 2. So this was the IRC guideline. And in this gap, we will fill this gap with the help of the lower density material like rubber or fiber board we can use, so that while expanding the pavement, the material can get compressed so that we can allow the free expansion. Yes. So this was the point. So this maximum expansion is going to be delta by 4. This maximum expansion is going to be delta by 4. So that you can write delta by 4 plus delta by 4. So maximum expansion of the pavement, that will be equal to delta by 2. That will be equal to delta by 2. So based on this explanation, you can mark D as the correct answer for this question. So now let's move to the next question. Now we will discuss some question related to the surveying. And what will be the answer for this question. This question is again MSQ. So we have considered all type of the question that they may can ask in your GATE exam. We have discussed MCQ question, we have discussed NAT question, and we have also discussed MSQ question. So what will be the answer? The topic is scale. So we have discussed in detail. Thank you, beta. Thank you. So follow all the classes, follow all the content systematically, and definitely you are going to get full marks. Your confidence will improve gradually. So keep practicing and keep revising. Keep practicing the concept and keep revising the concept as much as you can. So this is the very simple and basic question related to the concept of shrunk scale. So I hope you all can answer at your own. But don't worry, if there any discussion is required, I will be provide you the detailed discussion. Don't worry. Thanks, dear. Thanks. Thank you, everyone. So can we move to the next question? So what will be the answer for this question? What will be the answer for this question? So let's see the discussion. Let's see the discussion in this question, what they have provided and what they are asking. In an old survey, the area of the plan plotted to a scale of 12 meter to 1 centimeter measures not 250 square centimeter. The plan is found to have the shrunk such that a line originally 10 centimeter long is now measured 9 centimeter. As per the above data, identify the correct statement. You need to identify the correct statement. So, what is the first point? The RF of the shrunk scale is going to be, so original scale was 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter is equal to 12 meter. So 1 by 1200 RF in the terms of RF. Now we can calculate the shrinkage factor. So that is going to be 0.9. Okay. So 9 centimeter divided by 10 centimeter, that is going to be 0.9. So revised scale will be equal to, so this is going to be 1 by 1200 into 0.9. So 1 by 1200 by 0.9, that will be equal to 1200 by 0.9. So 1133.33. First statement is correct. First statement is correct. Yes. Second, the original area of the plan. So the measured area is 250. So divide by 0.9 ka square, that will be equal to 308.64 meters square, meters, centimeter square. 308.6. B is also correct. B is also correct. The true area on the ground is 4.44. That value you will get. So based on the revised scale, can we calculate the true area? The shrinkage factor is 1.11. No. Shrinkage factor that we have calculated is 0.9. Shrinkage factor that we have calculated as 0.9. So based on this explanation, you can mark A, B, C and are the correct. A, B, C are the correct. Area you will get. Convert the map area into the ground area based on the revised scale. And finally convert the area in hectare. So I think this value is correct. Perform the calculation part. Perform the calculation part. So this was the discussion for this question. Now let's move to the next question. That is question number 11. Again a very simple question. Based on your geodetic leveling part. Based on your geodetic leveling part. So what will be the answer for this question? What will be the answer for this question? So let's have the discussion for this question. An observer is standing on the deck of the sea, just sees a lighthouse. The top of the lighthouse H1 is given as 50 meter and H2 is given as 8 meter. What will be the total distance of visible horizon? What will be the total distance of visible horizon? So D is going to be 3.855 under root H1 plus under root H2. Put H1 and H2 in meter, D you will get in kilometer. So options are provided in kilometer in itself. So this is going to be 3.855 under root H1 is going to be 50 or H2 is going to be 8. Just you need to perform the calculation. So D is going to be 38.16 kilometer. So D will be equal to 38.16 kilometer. So based on this explanation, you can mark D as the correct answer. So there may be one more case. So we have discussed in the case of distance of visible horizon, we have discussed about the two cases. Case 1 was related to when there was only one observer, and this was the case 2 when two observers were there. In that case, what will be the total distance of the visual horizon? That we can calculate with the help of this approach. And the correct answer for this question is going to be D. So now let's move to the next question. Question number 12. What will be the answer? Everyone try to solve. The topic is very important. You can expect a question in your GATE 2023 exam related to the concept of, this question is related to the traverse survey. Similar kind of question you can expect. So closing error or error of closure. So for closing error, how we can calculate the magnitude and how we can calculate the direction of the closing error. This is the important discussion. This is the important discussion. Yes, so have you got the answer for this question? What will be the answer? Mark your answer in the chat box. Everyone try to solve. We have already discussed these type of the problem in our classes. So it's very simple question. All of you can solve. So let's see the discussion. So the following table given data is consecutive coordinates in respect of the closed traverse ABCDA. From the above data, direction of closing error will be equal to, you need to find out the theta. So theta will be equal to tan inverse ED upon EL. So we can consider north altitude latitude as positive, south latitude as negative, east departure as positive, and west departure as negative. So can we find out the algebraic summation of all the latitudes? Algebraic summation of all the latitudes अगर जीरो नहीं आएगा, so that will be equal to error in latitude. If algebraic summation of all the departure is not equal to zero, so that will be equal to error in departure. So we can find out the error in latitude and error in departure. So I need to solve 2, 3, 4, 500.1. So plus is going to be 500.1. Yes, if I am not wrong, 10. No, no. 501. This will be the value. So 501.0, and this will be equal to 499.0. Sorry. This will be equal to minus plus minus minus. So this is going to be minus 499. This will be equal to plus 2. This will be equal to plus 2. Yes or no? Similarly, error in departure, I think that you will get minus 2. So theta, you will get minus 45 degree. In WCB system, we have to represent the theta. So final theta will be equal to 360 minus 45 will be equal to 315 degree. So this will be the direction of the closing error. This will be the direction of the closing error. So based on this explanation, you can mark C as the correct answer for this question. C is going to be the correct answer for this question. So now let's move further. Question number 13. What will be the answer? Again, the question is MSQ. This question is MSQ. So everyone try to solve the question and tell me the answer in the chat box. The question is related to the reciprocal leveling. The problem is related to the reciprocal leveling. So don't worry, I will provide you the explanation. I will provide you the discussion for this question. You just need to attempt this question in this given specified time. That is of 2 minutes. So in this question, 4 readings are given. When the instrument is near to the A, when the instrument is near to B, you are getting the staff reading at A as 1.625 and at B is 2.545. Staff reading is increasing, that means A is at higher elevation. Based on these two observations, you can simply conclude A is at higher elevation as compared to B. As B, yes or no? Because if the staff reading is increasing, elevation will decrease. So can we say based on these 4 staff readings, we can calculate the elevation difference. We can calculate the elevation difference between point A and B, and that will be equal to HA. So HB minus HA plus HB dash minus HA dash by 2. Yes or no? In this question, they have provided you the RL. RL is given or not? On the basis of the following observations taken. So one RL should be there. I think there is data. There is some data missing. Chalo, let's see. So if you know the RL of point B, if RL of B is known, if RL of B is known, so now we can calculate the RL of A. So what will be the RL of A? RL of A is going to be, RL of A will be equal to RL of B plus H. Yes or no? Similarly, you can take the average in both the errors. So this is the concept. जिसके basis पे from that basis you can mark the answer. In this question, the RL is missing. So you must know the value of the RL. Okay. So no need to worry. The concept part I have covered. Now let's move to the last question. Now let's move to the last question, and we will have the discussion for this question. This question is related to the photogrammetry survey. The question is related to the photogrammetry survey, and the problem is related to the how we can calculate the total number of photographs required. Total number of photographs required. This is case 1 problem. So we have discussed the 2 cases. How we can calculate the total number of photographs required when the overall area is given to you. When the overall area is given to you, or when the area is given in the terms of L into B. In the terms of L into B. So this is the case 1 of our discussion. This is the case 1. So let's see the discussion for this question. So the number of photographs required to cover an area of 2500 kilometer square would be given that the scale of the photograph is given as 1:7500 and the photograph format is small l is given as 300 mm, small w is given as 300 mm, and the longitudinal lap is given as 60% and side lap is given as 30%. So when the overall area is given to you, what approach we can apply? So we can say the total number of photographs required. The total number of photographs required, and that will be equal to total area and net effective area covered by a single photograph. And A will be equal to capital L into capital W. Capital L is going to be 1 minus longitudinal lap into scale into L. Similarly, capital W is going to be 1 minus side lap into scale into small w. All the values are given to you. So on this basis you can calculate the net effective area covered by a single photograph. Net effective area covered by a single photograph. Yes or no? So this is going to be longitudinal lap, scale, length of the photograph. This is going to be the side lap, scale of the photograph, and width of the photograph. So this is the net effective ground area covered by a single photograph. You can put all the value and you can calculate the net effective ground area in kilometer square. So we know the total area to be surveyed. We know the area covered by a single photograph by considering the longitudinal lap as well as the side lap. So I think based on this explanation, when you will put the value, perform the calculation part, and the number of photographs required is going to be 1764. Is going to be 1764. So just put all the value and perform the calculation part. To cover the entire area, the number of photographs required is going to be, the number of photographs required to cover the area for this particular problem is going to be 2500 kilometer square. The number of photographs will be equal to 1764. So I hope the entire discussion is clear to everyone. So in this session, we have discussed some important concept from your highway engineering as well as from the surveying. So I hope the entire discussion for all the questions, all the concept is clear to everyone. So keep revising and keep practicing the question as much as you can, and best wishes for your GATE 2023 exam. So this was all about for this class. Thank you everyone. Keep learning. Thank you.